Welcome to this learning session on the Moore Industries Model HCS, the HART-to-MODBUS converter configuration software. In today's learning session, we'll be focusing on the workings of the Modbus tab that you see here. But before we get going anywhere, I'm going to hit the stop button, because remember, you cannot make any changes to the HCS unless it is in the stop mode, not the monitor mode. So now we'll click over to the Modbus tab. Now, the HCS, as the name implies, is a HART-to-MODBUS converter. The input is a HART digital data. The output is Modbus. So everything on this tab refers to communication on the Modbus side of the instrument. Okay. And everything here must be coordinated with that person in your organization that is programming your Modbus master, because the communication has to be the same on both ends. By example, the baud rate, if the baud rate for the master requires 9600, it has to be 9600 here. The first item we see, the first variable here, is the Modbus address. And of course, if you have multiple Modbus slaves, they all have to have unique addresses. So make sure you don't conflict with any other address on your Modbus network. The baud rate I just mentioned, it has to match what is ever on your Modbus master, as well as the parity. The register grouping is important. Now, if you have multiple HART devices on the HART side of the HCS, let's say you have 10 HART slaves out there, and all of them are, say, temperature transmitters. And you want to be able to read the temperature as quickly as possible, you might want to go and use by variable type. That'll make sure all the primary variables for every one of those 10 devices are all placed in the register one after another. So that way you can get all 10 of them in one command. So, in other words, address range 1 through 10, but don't use those exact numbers. So only an example. The register ranges for the HCS are in the manual. There are different register maps for if you're grouping by variable type or if you're grouping by HART device. There are different memory maps there, so be sure to refer to the manual. By HART device, that will take all the first 4 variables of every instrument and put them together. So if you have 10 instruments, the first 4 register spaces will be the primary, secondary, third, and fourth variable of the first device, and then primary, secondary, third, and fourth of the second device. They will all be one after the other in that fashion. So whatever works for your application and the type of instruments, HART instruments you have out there. Floating point word order, again, this has to match whatever is on your Modbus master, whether it be standard LSW or swapped MSW. And next one, failed HART devices register. If you have a HART device out there that has failed, well, let's say, again, if you're using a temperature transmitter of some sort, and it fails, it's reading 98 degrees, what do you want that register, what do you want to happen to that register when that HART device fails? Do you want it to hold the last value? So, by example, if you're reading 98 degrees, and instrument fails, it'll continue to read 98 degrees in that register. Maybe not such a good idea with temperature, but it is one of the options. You can also preset it to anything you'd like. Let's say, by example, 1111. That way, the person programming your Modbus master, when they see that string of data come up, they know it's probably not correct, and one of the HART devices has failed. And lastly, get rid of these. It's set to NaN. NaN just stands for not a number, so it'll put data in the register that does not represent a number. And lastly, the integer number of decimal places. Earlier, Modbus masters could not read floating point data. They could only read integers. And so the way of getting more precision on the integers is by specifying number of decimal points. So you have 0 through 3 here are the options, and you can set it to whatever is appropriate for your application. So that's pretty much it. You just have to make sure that anything you set here is in agreement with your Modbus master. And when you're done making any changes on here, remember to hit the download button. That'll download those changes to your HCS. Well, thank you for listening. And I hope to see you again on one of these other tabs if you need any assistance. Thank you.